that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me. It was good for little David. It was good for little David. It was good for little David. And it's good enough for me. Oh, give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me. It was good for old Jonah. It was good for old Jonah. It was good for old Jonah. And it's good enough for me. It was good for the Hebrew children. It was good for the Hebrew children. It was good for the Hebrew children. And it's good enough for me. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It's good enough for me.
Good morning, young ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, visitors. For our science lesson for today, we will continue our discussion of Darwin's theory of the descent of man. Now, as I told you yesterday, Darwin's theory tells us that man evolved from a lower order of animals. From the first wiggly protozoa here in the sea, to the ape, and finally, to man. Now, some of you fellows out there are probably going to say that's why some of us act like monkeys. But what Mr. Charles Darwin was trying to tell us in his own way...
Bertram T. Cates?
Come off it, Sam. You've known me all my life.
Bert, you're charged with violation of Public Act 31428, Volume 37, Statute Number 31428 of the State Code, which makes it unlawful for any teacher of the public schools to teach any theory that denies the creation of man as taught in the Bible, and to teach instead that man has descended from a lower order of animals. Bertram Cates, I hereby place you under arrest.
Monkey trial. Here's another one. Monkey shines in Hillsboro. The whole world's laughing at us. Look, from Chicago. Heavenly Hillsboro. Does it have a hole in its head, or its head in a hole? I'm telling you, we've gone too far.
Let them laugh. We fight in the Lord's battle, ain't we, Reverend? Well, I'd decide rather have some heathen a-laughing at me than to have my sons a-laughing at my Bible.
They mocked the Lord, too, didn't they? And they smote him, and they spat upon him, and he turned to them his other cheek.
And look, Reverend, we don't want to smite them back. We just want to make them stop. Tom, you're a prosecuting attorney. Isn't there something we can do?
Well, in view of my position, I hardly think it ethical for me to express my opinion.
Then you better go back to law school. Gentlemen, I ask you, what do we care what a bunch of foreigners and city slickers think? Frank, you ever had a Frenchman staying at your hotel?
Now, look here, Mr. Holmes.
And how long since you sold a pound of grits to some smart aleck from New York?
Heaven has chosen us to show the way, to light the road for others. Back to the shepherd, back to the fold.
We're not sheep, Reverend.
Well, I'd rather be a sheep than a Judas goat.
Wait a minute. As mayor of Hillsborough, I stand to uphold the laws of this community, no matter how it may affect my political future. Now, I shall just ignore these slanders. Just like water off a duck's back.
Now, look, you only got 2 months more to go as mayor anyway, and you shouldn't have been elected in the first place. You've been a lousy mayor.
You can't say it.
My friends, as you all know, I deal with figures. Accounts, checks, balances. My bank operates on the principle of practical reality, and so do I. Are you aware, my friends, that the great big universities throughout the country will consider student applicants from our state ineligible because of this law? Now, I don't know whose idea it was to hang a shingle on Hillsborough spelling horse and buggy. But as for me, I won't invest in antiquity. I want my bank holding credit with New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and I may want my son to go to Yale. Now, I believe in just as much as anyone in this room in a basic fundamentalist interpretation of the Bible. But we can't close our eyes to all progress, to everything which represents a step.
Wait a minute. Matthew Harrison Brady volunteers to prosecute in monkey trial.
Matthew Harrison Brady. The Lord has sent us his right hand.
And I'll be working with him. They'll come pouring out of the hills. This town will fill up like a rain barrel in a flood.
It'll be bigger than Chautauqua or Chattanooga. And people are going to have some place to stay. And they got to eat.
This will put Hillsborough on the map of this country.
Let us give thanks to the Lord. Let us pray.
You better start praying, son. Imagine Matthew Harrison Brady coming here. I voted for him for president twice. Once in 1900 and again in 08. I wasn't old enough to vote for him the first time he run, but my pa did. I seen him once at a Chautauqua meeting in Chattanooga. When he spoke, the tent poles shook. Who's going to be your lawyer, son?
I don't know yet. Wrote to that newspaper in Baltimore. They're sending somebody.
You better be loud. Probably one of those newspaper reporters. You're a popular fella.
Yeah.
Oh, Bert, you don't mind, do you? Just for the looks of it? Can't tell who it might be.
Sure, don't worry about it, Mort.
Who is it? Rachel, come on in. You got a friend for Bert, huh?
Mort, don't let my father know I came here.
Well, the Reverend don't tell me his business. I don't see why I should tell him mine.
Is Bert all right?
Oh, of course he's the safest place in the world's in the jail. Come on in. Come on.
Tell them you're sorry. Tell them it was all a mistake. Please.
Tell them if they let my body out of jail, I'd lock up my mind. Could you stand that, Rachel?
At least we'd be together.
It wouldn't be the... Wouldn't be the same. Rachel. Do you remember those warm, dark nights down by the riverbank? Just watching the water. Wondering about the miracle of it. Wondering what the stars were for. What's on the other side of the moon. There'd be no more of that, Rach.
to be in the locked off part for both of us.
Well. So, this is where the fate of learning will be decided for the next 10,000 years. Oh, tempora o mores. Well, I see we have both beauty and biology on our side.
Who are you?
Is your writing?
Yes.
This is mine. Hornbeck, E.K. Hornbeck, Baltimore Herald.
I've been waiting to hear from you.
Read it. My typewriter's been singing a sweet, sad song about the Hillsborough heretic, P. Cates, Latter-day Dreyfus, Romeo with a biology book. Want a bite? Oh, don't worry. I'm not the serpent that'll either. This isn't from the tree of knowledge. Oh, no. You won't find one growing in heavenly Hillsborough. A few ignorance bushes, perhaps, but no tree of knowledge. Ask Adam.
You make me sound like a martyr.
You could be. Martyrs always have a point to prove, and so do you. But you haven't won your halo yet. That won't come until after they've tossed you into the arena with the lion.
Mean Brady.
I don't want Bert to be a martyr. What are you trying to prove anyway?
Rach, I'm not trying to prove anything. All I want to do is teach my students that man just wasn't planted here like a geranium in a flower pot. That life comes from a long miracle. It just didn't take 7 days.
But it's against the law. A school teacher's a public servant. He should do what the law and the school board want him to.
Has the accused anything to say in his own defense? If not, I sentence you to life as a public servant. A silent butler in the service of your school board. Waste baskets for ideas on sale in the outer lobby.
I don't see anything funny in this, Mr. Hornbeck.
Objections sustained. Neither do I.
Then why don't you just leave us alone? You newspaper people have stirred up enough trouble for Bert. What do you want, anyway?
I came to tell boy Socrates here that the Baltimore Herald is opposed to Hemlock and will provide a lawyer. Who? Who? I don't know yet, but what's the difference? No liar with old tricks and no liar with new tricks. Wake up, Copernicus. The law is still on the side of the lawmakers, and everything revolves around their terra firma.
Then why bother you and your newspaper?
Because I know that the sunrise is an optical illusion. My teacher told me so.
You don't seem like the kind of person who'd want to bother. You seem so...
Cynical. True. True, that's part of my fascination. I do hateful things for which people love me, and I do lovable things for which they hate me. I'm admired for my detestability. Now, don't worry, little Eva. I may be rancid butter, but I'm on your side of the bread.